In the stillness of the early hours on the 25th of October 2022, an unsettling call pierced the quietude of the night. A report of a shooting at a residence on Henley Road, Ilford. As the clock struck 12:16 in the morning, the urgency of the situation demanded the immediate response of armed officers, local police units, and the London Ambulance Service. Upon arrival, they were confronted with a harrowing tableau of violence. Inside the house, the grim reality unfolded. A calculated act of aggression had left two men lifeless, their fate sealed by the merciless hand of death before paramedics could offer aid. Nearby, two other men clung to life, their bodies marred by gunshot wounds. Swift medical intervention stabilized their conditions, and they were whisked away to the hospital, where, in time, they would recover physically, though perhaps never fully heal from the trauma endured. The scene bore the unmistakable hallmarks of premeditation. The chaos within the walls, shattered glass, overturned furniture, and the ominous litter of spent ammunition spoke of a prolonged and purposeful assault. This was not the result of a momentary lapse in judgment, but rather a meticulously orchestrated attack, executed with chilling precision. The timing, mere minutes past midnight, was a calculated choice. It was a moment when the household, shrouded in the vulnerability of sleep, would be least prepared to defend against such an onslaught. As forensic experts meticulously combed through the wreckage, the scale of the violence and the intent behind it became increasingly apparent. Detectives, driven by a relentless pursuit of justice, began to unravel the intricate web of relationships and motives that led to that fateful night. They sought to identify all those present, reconstructing the events that transpired and assessing how close each individual had come to sharing the same fate as those who perished. Meanwhile, in the quieter environs of Wheatley Hill, County Durham, another narrative of violence was unfolding. A father, ensconced in the supposed safety of his bed, was brutally attacked. This incident, too, bore the marks of personal vendetta, a disagreement spiraling into a maelstrom of violence. Detectives worked tirelessly, peeling back layers of personal history to understand the origins of such animosity. Yet, even as these investigations unfolded, an unexpected discovery at HMP Wyland in Norfolk revealed a different facet of crime, one that transcended the confines of the prison walls. What began as a routine search unearthed contraband items, a mobile phone, and drugs. This revelation was not dismissed as a mere infraction, but instead ignited a broader inquiry that extended its reach into the very fabric of the prison staff, challenging the integrity of those sworn to uphold the law. These three disparate cases, seemingly unrelated, were bound by common threads of motive, opportunity, and the decisions that set these events into motion long before the law intervened. They are tales of loyalty twisted by vengeance, trust shattered, and the relentless pursuit of truth by those tasked with unraveling the darkest of human impulses. In the shadows of these narratives lies a deeper reflection on the human condition, a reminder of how the choices we make can ripple through the lives of others, leaving indelible marks on the tapestry of society. As investigators delve deeper, they illuminate the hidden connections, ensuring that justice, though elusive, remains within reach. Found themselves intricately woven into the fabric of this ongoing feud. Their identities, initially shrouded in mystery, began to unravel as detectives meticulously pieced together the complex web of affiliations and animosities that had led to the tragic events on Henley Road. The investigation uncovered a shadowy underworld where allegiances were transient and loyalties could shift with little warning. Sidi Abu Sheikh's involvement with Drillford and their adversaries was not merely a matter of territorial disputes, but was emblematic of a deeper, more insidious struggle for power and influence. This was a world where the currency was fear, and the stakes were nothing less than life and death. Zakaria Jelani Muhammad, whose age was a matter of some ambiguity, was similarly entangled in this perilous terrain. His connections, though less publicly documented, were nonetheless significant. He was known to move in circles that operated in the gray areas of legality, where the line between business and crime was often indistinguishable. The night of the attack, the house on Henley Road became a battleground, the culmination of tensions that had been simmering beneath the surface for years. The brutality inflicted upon Sidi and Zakaria was a chilling testament to the lengths to which these groups would go to assert dominance. The forensic evidence left behind told a story of chaos and desperation, a frenzied assault where the assailants had left nothing to chance. Khalid Khalid's survival was nothing short of miraculous. The bullet that traversed his skull could have easily ended his life. Yet he emerged as a living testament to the fragility of human existence in the face of such violence. His recovery, while remarkable, was marred by lasting impairments that served as a constant reminder of the night that changed everything. The two other men who escaped with their lives did so by the narrowest of margins. Their stories added layers to the narrative, highlighting the indiscriminate nature of the violence that had erupted within those walls. The man who fled through the back door, narrowly evading death, and the one who hid upstairs, bearing silent witness to the carnage below, both played pivotal roles in the subsequent investigation. As the inquiry deepened, the detectives delved into the socioeconomic factors that had given rise to such entrenched hostility. The communities involved were often marginalized, grappling with issues of poverty, unemployment, and disenfranchisement. These conditions created fertile ground for gangs to flourish, offering a sense of belonging and purpose to those who felt abandoned by society. The unraveling of the events on Henley Road revealed more than just a tale of violence. It exposed the systemic failures that had allowed such conflicts to fester unchecked. The authorities, faced with the daunting task of restoring peace, recognized that the solution lay not only in law enforcement, but in addressing the underlying causes of the discord. In the end, the tragedy on Henley Road served as a stark reminder of the human cost of unresolved grievances and the perilous path of vengeance. It underscored the need for understanding, dialogue, and reconciliation in a world where the shadows of violence often obscure the light of hope. The story of that night, while heartbreaking, compelled a community to confront its demons and strive for a future where peace could be more than an elusive dream. In the intricate web of urban rivalries, the saga of Ayani Ali Aden, Mahad Guled, and Chibuke Ahanwe unfolds against a backdrop of deep-seated hostilities in Newham. They were key figures within a notorious group known as Only Manor, abbreviated as OM. For years, a simmering animosity had existed between OM and their adversaries from Drillford, escalating into a series of violent confrontations that left a trail of destruction and despair in their wake. At the heart of this ongoing feud was Zayan Mirza, a prominent member of Only Manor, whose involvement, albeit indirect during the infamous Henley Road incident, would later prove pivotal. The Henley Road shooting did not emerge from a vacuum. It was the culmination of a relentless cycle of retribution that had already cost lives. This episode was the latest chapter in a narrative where violence had become a tragically normalized response to grievances. The assault in Ilford was not merely an impulsive act. It was a calculated move born out of years of unresolved bitterness and vengeance, a vendetta that had festered over time. The origins of this lethal conflict trace back to November of 2019, when Mohammed Usman Mirza, a young man of 19, was brutally murdered. His untimely death sent ripples of anguish through his family, particularly affecting his elder brother, Zain Mirza. The murder was not just a fleeting tragedy. its repercussions lingered, fueling further animosities long after the judicial system had rendered its verdicts. During subsequent investigations, it was revealed that one of the convicted perpetrators shared ties with Saidi Abu Sheikh, an association that became a significant element in the unfolding drama. Although Saidi Abu Sheikh was not directly implicated in the murder, his connections placed him within the same volatile milieu as those involved. As law enforcement delved deeper into the complexities of the case, they unearthed a critical belief held by Zain Mirza, that someone present during the Henley Road attack was linked to his brother's demise. This conviction, investigators determined, was the catalyst that transformed simmering resentment into a meticulously orchestrated act of retribution. The attack did not occur in the immediate aftermath of the 2019 murder. Rather, it took nearly 3 years for the plan to materialize, indicating a motive that had solidified over time rather than dissipated. When the assault was finally executed, it bore all the hallmarks of a targeted operation, not a random outburst of violence. As detectives pieced together the intricacies of the plan, their attention turned to the clandestine preparations that facilitated such a complex undertaking. They scrutinized the roles of those who orchestrated the logistics, ensuring that the attack could be carried out with precision. In examining this tale of vengeance, one is compelled to reflect on the destructive power of unresolved grievances and the cyclical nature of violence. It is a stark reminder of the human capacity for both remembrance and retribution, and the profound impact these forces can have on individuals, the paths we choose, and the legacies we leave behind, urging a contemplation of peace over the perpetuation of conflict. In the shadowy corridors of urban intrigue, a clandestine operation unfolded, meticulously orchestrated with unnerving precision. The epicenter of this plot was a seemingly innocuous rented address on Durham Road in Manor Park. This ordinary dwelling, detached from any ties to the intended victims, was transformed into a covert operational hub. Here, the architects of the impending assault convened, strategizing with the calculated subtlety of seasoned operatives, their movements shrouded in secrecy to evade the vigilant eyes of the law. As the fateful day loomed, the conspirators undertook a series of premeditated actions to cloak their identities. They donned burqas, garments selected for their ability to obscure facial features and alter body outlines, rendering identification a formidable challenge both in the immediate aftermath and in subsequent surveillance footage. This sartorial choice underscored a sophisticated understanding of modern surveillance techniques and a deliberate attempt to thwart any investigative pursuits. Their journey from the safe confines of Manor Park to the bustling streets of Ilford was facilitated by a stolen Mitsubishi Outlander. This vehicle, far from a random choice, was integral to their escape plan. The decision to employ a stolen vehicle was a calculated measure, anticipating its disposal post-attack. After the violent act, the Outlander was driven to Ronnie Lane, a location strategically chosen for its proximity yet seclusion from the scene of the crime. There, the vehicle was set ablaze in a bid to annihilate any forensic evidence, a pyrotechnic erasure of their physical trace. However, in the charred remains of the vehicle lay the unanticipated resilience of forensic science. Investigators, meticulously combing through the ashes, discovered remnants of clothing. Despite the fire's destructive intent, forensic experts were able to salvage crucial evidence from these singed artifacts. The belief that the inferno had obliterated all traces proved to be a miscalculation. The forensic narrative unfolded, unveiling a meticulously planned sequence rather than a chaotic aftermath, each step revealing a premeditated choreography of violence. The investigation, gaining momentum, saw the charred vehicle as a pivotal piece in the puzzle. The Mitsubishi Outlander, once a tool of anonymity, was now a beacon guiding detectives towards the truth. Within its burnt-out shell, discarded garments were retrieved, their fabrics singed but not silenced. These remnants, subjected to rigorous forensic scrutiny, yielded DNA traces that linked back to Society Abu Sheikh, one of the perpetrators who perished in the attack. This breakthrough was monumental. It confirmed the attackers' proximity to their victims, dispelling any lingering doubts about their involvement. As the inquiry delved deeper, it became apparent that the fire's attempt to obliterate evidence was not just an act of desperation, but a testament to the attack's premeditated nature. The calculated destruction of the vehicle was consistent with a broader strategy of evasion. Yet it was in this very destruction that the seeds of their downfall were sown. The forensic revelations, pieced together from the ashes, painted a portrait of an operation that, despite its sophistication, could not escape the relentless pursuit of justice. In the end, the narrative of this meticulously planned attack serves as a reminder of the dual nature of human ingenuity. It highlights the capacity for both calculated malice and the relentless quest for truth. It is a testament to the power of forensic science to illuminate the darkest corners of human intent, ensuring that justice, though often delayed, is never denied. In the shadowy depths of criminal enterprise, where intentions to erase evidence are often thwarted by the very actions meant to conceal them, a tale unfolds that challenges the cunning of its perpetrators. Efforts to obliterate traces of wrongdoing met with failure, as the flames intended to destroy evidence instead preserved a narrative crucial to unraveling the mystery behind a heinous act. The case, a complex tapestry of violence and calculated obstruction, began to unravel with the discovery that the fire, meant to obliterate the past, had instead immortalized it, allowing investigators to reconstruct for the truth, guiding the authorities through the labyrinth of deceit woven by the culprits. In this intricate web of crime, 19-year-old Zakaria Mohammed emerged as a pivotal figure. His admission of guilt in the aftermath of the crime laid bare the deliberate measures taken to obscure the investigation. Though not charged with the murder or attempted murder itself, his confession illuminated the concerted efforts to distance the perpetrators from the scene, revealing a calculated strategy to mislead justice. The investigation, bolstered by CCTV footage from the vicinity of Henley Road, painted a vivid portrait of the events surrounding the attack. These digital sentinels provided an unbroken chain of evidence, capturing the movements in and out of the area, and thereby building a timeline that defied the perpetrator's best efforts to remain unseen. As the net tightened, a series of arrests ensued, each marking a significant stride in the pursuit of justice. On the 11th of November, in the year 2022, Ayani Ali Adan was apprehended, initiating a domino effect that saw Zain Mirza taken into custody on the 20th, revealing the full scope of the crime as detectives pieced together the narrative of planning and execution that lay at the heart of the attack. The final arrest, that of Chibyuk or Hanway, came months later on the 24th of May 2023. This pivotal moment in the investigation brought to light additional charges, including firearms offenses, drug-related crimes, and weapons possession, underscoring the breadth of criminality that surrounded the case. It was a grim reminder of how this violent episode was but a thread in the larger fabric of organized crime. As the case transitioned to the courtroom, the Old Bailey became the stage where the full magnitude of the investigation and the brutality of the attack were laid bare. The prosecution presented a meticulously detailed account, from the inception of the plot to its violent execution, challenging the jury to navigate the complexities of the evidence and the multitude of defendants involved. The jury's deliberations spanned over 40 hours, a testament to the intricate nature of the case. When they returned with their verdict, the gravity of the crimes committed was reflected in the convictions. Ayani Ali Adan, Mahad Guled, Chibyuk or Hanway, and Zain Mirza were each found guilty of 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, and perverting the course of justice. Zakaria Mohammed, having already pleaded guilty to his role in obstructing the investigation, stood as a reminder of the human capacity for both deception and eventual truth. In the end, the court's verdict was not merely a judgment on the individuals involved, but a reflection on the indelible impact of crime and the enduring quest for justice. Through the ashes of their concealment, a story emerged, a testament to the resilience of truth and the inexorable march of justice. A warmth that resonated with beneath the surface of this seemingly idyllic existence lay an undercurrent of tension that would culminate in tragedy. The investigation into Ross Connolly's untimely death quickly uncovered a web of digital interactions that had taken a dark turn. It was revealed that an online dispute, seemingly trivial at first, had escalated into a real-world conflict with deadly ramifications. The digital age, with its vast connectivity, had once again proved to be a double-edged sword, where words typed behind the safety of a screen carried the potential to incite real-world violence. As forensic teams meticulously combed through the evidence, the narrative of the night began to unfold. The chaos within the house on Alexandra Terrace bore silent witness to the ferocity of the attack. The shattered remnants of daily life were now pieces of a grim puzzle, each shard a testament to the violence that had erupted in the dead of night. Bloodstains, broken furniture, and the subtle signs of a struggle all pointed to a confrontation that had spiraled beyond control. The investigation was relentless, as detectives sought to piece together the sequence of events that led to this violent outcome. The community, in collective shock, grappled with the loss of a familiar face, a man who had shared their streets, stories, and lives. As the days passed, the police presence in Wheatley Hill became a constant, a reminder of the tragedy that had befallen their quiet enclave. In the midst of sorrow and confusion, the identity of the perpetrator became the focal point of the investigation. The digital trail, once a mere collection of messages, was now scrutinized for clues that might reveal the intentions and identity of the individual responsible for this heinous act. The world of social media, with its vast reach and anonymity, had become both a tool for connection and a breeding ground for conflict. As the investigation continued, the community of Wheatley Hill found itself at a crossroads, caught between mourning a beloved member and grappling with the harsh realities of a world where virtual grievances could manifest into physical violence. The tragic tale of Ross Connolly served as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the unforeseen consequences of actions taken in anger. Ultimately, the quest for justice in the case of Ross Connolly was not just a pursuit of legal resolution, but a deeper exploration into the nature of human interaction in the modern age. It highlighted the need for understanding and empathy, for recognizing the humanity in each other, even in the faceless expanse of the digital realm. In the end, it was a call to reflect on the power of words and the responsibility that comes with wielding them, a poignant reminder that in the tapestry of life, each thread holds the potential to weave beauty or unravel into chaos. Ross Connolly, a man whose heart beat fervently for the football team Sunderland and whose soul found solace in the harmonious strains of music, was deeply cherished by his family. His departure left an indelible void in the lives of those who held him dear. In the twilight of his life, Ross grappled with a long-standing dependency on alcohol, a struggle that was compounded by deteriorating mobility, rendering him largely confined within the walls of his home. The limitations imposed by his physical condition meant that Ross found rest not in the upstairs bedroom, but rather in the living room, a poignant detail that would later hold significant weight. This choice of sleeping quarters elucidated his location during the tragic events that unfolded, and underscored his inability to flee when danger crept into his sanctuary. For those tasked with piecing together the narrative of Ross Connolly's untimely demise, understanding his circumstances was crucial. It painted a stark picture of vulnerability and highlighted the power imbalance between Ross and those who would come to bear the weight of culpability for his death. As investigators painstakingly retraced the final hours before his body was discovered, they unearthed a tale of a dispute that had traversed both distance and time, from a distant origin to the very threshold of Ross Connolly's home. At the heart of the investigation, two names surfaced with unsettling clarity. Louis Armstrong, merely 18 years of age, resided on the Dixon estate in Shotton Colliery. He was connected to Ross by familial ties, yet this bond offered no shield against himself embroiled in a digital altercation involving his mother, a spark that ignited a series of calamitous events. Yet Armstrong did not embark on this path alone. In a quest for retribution, he reached out to Harvey Hughes, a 20-year-old acquaintance from Girton Close in Peterlee. Their alliance was not a fleeting one. It was a bond forged in familiarity and camaraderie, and Hughes readily agreed to stand by Armstrong's side. Together, they set forth in the early hours of May 1st, a journey that would culminate in tragedy. Evidence would later reveal that Armstrong was the architect of this confrontation. He meticulously planned the rendezvous, orchestrated the logistics of transport, and led the expedition to Wheatley Hill. In the hours preceding Ross Connolly's death, Armstrong and Hughes were embroiled in another violent altercation, leaving another individual with grievous injuries. This earlier act of aggression painted a chilling portrait of escalating violence, forming a crucial piece of the puzzle that detectives sought to assemble. Neither Armstrong nor Hughes sought the intervention of law enforcement, nor did they make any attempts to quell the rising tide of hostility. Instead, they pressed forward, driven by a relentless momentum towards Alexandra Terrace. It was a journey laden with intent and fraught with the specter of impending violence, a journey that would forever alter the lives of all involved. In the unfolding of such a narrative, one is left to ponder the intricate web of human relationships, where bonds of blood and friendship can sometimes lead astray. The tale of Ross Connolly is a somber reminder of the fragility of life and the profound impact of choices made in moments of anger and despair. It is a reflection on the human condition, where the light of love and the shadow of violence can exist in such close proximity, each influencing the course of lives with equal potency. In the quiet neighborhood of Alexandria Terrace, a series of events unfolded that would culminate in a tragedy, leaving a community shaken and a family shattered. The investigation into this tragic incident would reveal a complex web of emotions and actions, starting with an online dispute that spiraled out of control. The story begins with Ross Connolly, a man whose life, unbeknownst to him, was about to be irrevocably altered by a digital confrontation. On the 30th of April, 2023, Ross became embroiled in a volatile exchange on Facebook. The platform, designed to connect friends and family, became the battleground for a heated argument between Ross and his cousin, a woman who was also the mother of Louis Armstrong. The argument quickly devolved into a public spectacle, filled with offensive and abusive remarks that were broadcast for all to see. What might have remained a contained family argument instead ignited a firestorm of emotions. Louis Armstrong, upon discovering the exchange as mere words, he perceived it as a personal affront demanding retribution. This sense of grievance set in motion a chain of events that would escalate from the virtual world to a physical confrontation. By the early hours of the 1st of May, the simmering tensions reached a boiling point. A group of men, driven by a sense of loyalty and anger, converged on Alexandria Terrace with a singular purpose: As the clock struck midnight, they forced their way into Ross Connolly's home. Ross, confined to his bed in the living room due to limited mobility, found himself defenseless against the impending onslaught. They're identified as a metal pole or similar object, unleashed their fury upon Ross. The assault was captured in part by a nearby security camera, which recorded the chilling sounds of violence. Investigators later determined that at least 40 blows were struck during the attack, each one a testament to the ferocity and determination of the assailants. The aftermath was devastating. A post-mortem examination revealed the extent of Ross Connolly's injuries: multiple fractured ribs, a shattered thigh bone, and extensive internal trauma. These injuries painted a grim picture of the violence he endured, each wound a silent witness to the brutality of the attack. As investigators pieced together the events leading up to that fateful night, the story of Ross Connolly's murder became a cautionary tale of how quickly anger can escalate into violence. The digital age, with its promise of connection, had instead facilitated a breakdown in communication, transforming a family disagreement into a deadly confrontation. In the end, the tragedy of Ross Connolly serves as a stark reminder of the power of words and the consequences of unchecked anger. It is a narrative that underscores the need for empathy, understanding, and restraint in our interactions, both online and offline. As we navigate the complexities of human relationships in the modern world, may we strive to bridge the divides that separate us, seeking peace over conflict and compassion over vengeance. In the shadowy corridors of crime and consequence, the story of Ross's tragic demise unfolds with chilling clarity. The cause of death was determined to be impaired breathing, coupled with the relentless flow of blood loss, an assault so brutal that life slipped away before any chance of salvation could be seized. Left unattended, Ross's fate was sealed amidst the cold indifference of a night that bore witness to his last breath. As law enforcement officers meticulously pieced together the events of that fatal night, their attention swiftly turned to the orchestrators of this heinous act. How had they arrived undetected? And how did they vanish into the night so seamlessly? The investigation cast a spotlight on Millie Bradley, the girlfriend of Louis Armstrong at the time, whose actions before and after the incident were critical. In the stillness of the early hours of May 1st, 2023, Bradley ferried Armstrong to the scene of impending violence. She lingered nearby, a silent sentinel as the attack unfolded. Forensic evidence, a silent witness to the crime, placed a vehicle in close proximity to the house throughout the assault. The distant hum of a security camera captured audio that spilled into the street, a grim symphony of violence that Bradley could not have ignored. Yet, as the attackers departed, she facilitated Armstrong's escape, spiriting him away from the scene at speed. Pinning Armstrong to mundane locations, such as Starbucks and McDonald's, where the veneer of normalcy masked a deeper subterfuge. Using her phone, Armstrong reached out to associates, weaving a network of communication designed to elude the grasp of justice. Yet the net was closing in, and on the 3rd of May, Bradley found herself in custody, her initial denials crumbling under the weight of evidence. As the investigation deepened, another name emerged from the shadows: Harvey Hughes, a participant in the brutal attack who had fled separately. The law's long arm eventually reached him in Leeds, where he was apprehended. Meanwhile, Armstrong roamed free, a fugitive for several weeks, until the 21st of May, when he surrendered to the authorities, marking the end of an intense manhunt. The case, a tapestry of violence and betrayal, unfolded in the somber halls of Newcastle Crown Court. Here, the full narrative of events leading to Ross's death was meticulously examined. The court found Louis Armstrong and Harvey Hughes guilty of murder, their actions painted in stark relief against the backdrop of justice. Moreover, both men faced additional convictions for attempting to cause grievous bodily harm with intent, linked to a separate violent incident on the 30th of April 2023. The gavel fell, sealing their fates with the finality of a life sentence. Harvey Hughes would serve a minimum of 26 years before the possibility of parole would flicker on his horizon. Louis Armstrong, too, was condemned to life imprisonment, his freedom a distant and uncertain prospect. In the end, this tale of violence and its aftermath leaves us pondering the delicate balance between justice and retribution, where each choice, each action, reverberates through the lives it touches, a somber reminder of the fragility of human life and the inexorable march of justice. The intricate web of deception and criminality within the confines of HMP Wyland, a Category C prison, an circumstantiatic revelation of a whistleblower, but through the mundane rigors of routine prison enforcement. Within the cell of Joel Barker, an inmate whose life behind bars was meant to be one of penitence and reflection, officers uncovered a trove of contraband: drugs, a mobile phone, and a charger. These items, forbidden in the stark world of prison life, hinted at a deeper, more sinister operation. The mobile phone, a seemingly innocuous device, served as an unholy link between the prison's stone walls and the outside world. It was through this digital umbilical cord that Jediah Clark, a 42-year-old inmate, orchestrated his illicit empire. The phone, discovered to be in constant use by Clark, connected him to his mother, Joy Wickham, who played a pivotal role in the operation from beyond the prison gates. Clark, a man serving time, was far from a mere pawn in this game of shadows. He was the mastermind, the commanding general, directing the flow of illegal substances into the prison with calculated precision. At the heart of this conspiracy was Sophie M., a 29-year-old prison officer whose duty was to uphold the integrity of the institution. Yet, over the span of more than 2 years, she became ensnared in a relationship with Clark that transcended the professional boundaries expected of her position. This liaison, deemed by the courts as a personal involvement that facilitated grave criminal activities, saw M using her access to smuggle drugs into the prison. The substances in question included spice, a synthetic cannabinoid notorious for its debilitating effects, and cannabis resin. The method of smuggling was as cunning as it was effective. The spice was not hidden in traditional packages, but was instead soaked into A5-sized paper, masquerading as innocuous pages within puzzle books. This ingenious disguise allowed the contraband to slip past security checks with minimal suspicion. Once inside the prison, the paper was cut into smaller pieces, each a potent dose ready to be sold to fellow inmates, perpetuating a cycle of addiction and control. Joy Wickham, Clark's mother, was instrumental in this operation. She procured the drugs, meticulously preparing the spice by impregnating it onto paper, and then handed these illicit goods to M during her shifts. Inside the prison, Joel Barker, the inmate whose cell was initially searched, served as the custodian of these contraband items. His role provided Clark with financial records, later scrutinized by investigators, revealed that M was compensated handsomely for her complicity. This monetary gain, a stark contrast to the ethical void it represented, underscored the corrupting influence of greed and the lengths to which individuals would go to satisfy their desires. As the investigation unfolded, the intricate layers of this operation were peeled away, revealing a tapestry of betrayal, manipulation, and moral decay. The case at HMP Wyland serves as a poignant reminder of the fragile nature of integrity and the insidious ways in which it can be eroded. It is a testament to the enduring struggle between the forces of order and chaos, a battle waged not only in the physical realm, but within the hearts and minds of those who walk the fine line between right and wrong. In this delicate balance, we find the essence of human nature, forever poised on the precipice of redemption and ruin. In the shadowed corridors of HMP Wyland, an intricate web of deceit and betrayal was meticulously unraveled. As detectives delved deeper into the clandestine network, a damning trail of evidence began to surface, illuminating the depths of a conspiracy that stretched from the confines of the prison to the outside world. The investigation revealed a sophisticated smuggling operation, intricately woven and executed with precision. Financial trails and forensic clues painted a picture not of a mere momentary lapse, but of a calculated and deliberate exchange of narcotics and money. At the heart of this illicit enterprise was Sophie M., a prison officer whose actions would betray the trust bestowed upon her. Court documents laid bare the transactions that punctuated this conspiracy. Payments, strategically staggered at £2,500, £500, £1,000, and subsequently another £2,000, formed an undeniable pattern. These financial exchanges underscored the prosecution's argument of Sophie M.'s pivotal role in the operation. Within the prison walls, the contraband's street value soared, with the drug's worth estimated to exceed £7,000. Such figures highlighted the lucrative nature of the trade and the inflated prices commanded within the confines of incarceration. The Eastern Region Special Operations Unit, in collaboration with prison authorities, meticulously pieced together the puzzle. Their efforts laid bare the full extent of the enterprise, culminating in a series of arrests that dismantled the operation. In the courtroom, the gravity of the betrayal was reflected in the sentences handed down, underscoring the severity of the breach of trust. Sophie M., faced with the consequences of her actions, was sentenced to 33, the profound breach of trust and the detrimental impact of drug proliferation within the prison system. Her co-conspirator, Jediah Clark, received a sentence of 6 years and 2 months, while his mother, Joy Wickham, was sentenced to 4 years. Joel Barker, another player in this clandestine affair, was handed a 14-month sentence, suspended for 2 years. The financial ramifications were pursued through the Proceeds of Crime Act, yet the sums reclaimed were minimal in comparison to the scale of the operation. Sophie M. was ordered to repay £48 and £51 respectively, reflecting her limited assets. Wickham faced a repayment of £1,000, while Clark was ordered to repay £45,819. In the aftermath of the trial, a somber reflection looms. The case serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities within the system and the human propensity for betrayal. It challenges us to consider the delicate balance of trust and the far-reaching consequences of its breach. In the silent corridors of justice, the reverberations of this case echo a timeless truth. Integrity, once compromised, leaves an indelible mark on the fabric of society.